We are, this morning, the bearers of some sad breaking news. Former Senator George Mcgovern has died at the age of 90. Mcgovern was a liberal icon. He ran for president in 1972. He lost in a landslide to Richard Nixon. We're going to take a look back at his long career in politics coming up this morning.
And also, we are just 16 days until the election and 1 day until the third and final presidential debate. And this morning, so many questions. How will this big headline about Iran play in the debate? And can this face-off shift the dynamic in what appears to be an extremely tight race?
The timing's so interesting on that one. We'll get to that in just a few moments. We're going to begin, though, with that breaking news. The former senator and presidential candidate George Mcgovern dying today at the age of 90. And
family members say Mcgovern passed away at 5:15 this morning, surrounded by relatives and lifelong friends. George Stephanopoulos looks back at his life dedicated to public service.
I will halt the senseless bombing of Indochina on inaugural day.
George Mcgovern was the first senator to oppose the Vietnam War, calling it a policy of moral debacle and political defeat. And that cause would propel him to the Democratic nomination for the presidency in 1972.
Peace, not war. Truth and candor rather than deception and manipulation. We're going to give Richard Nixon the retirement he so richly deserved.
Voters didn't see it that way. McGovern lost one of the biggest electoral landslides in American history, carrying only Massachusetts. He grew up in a tiny prairie town in South Dakota, a liberal icon from a Republican family. Met his wife Eleanor when they faced off at a high school debate tournament, and she won. McGovern went on to become a decorated fighter pilot in World War II, served in Congress, and found his national voice leading the anti-war charge in his race for the White House.
To stand with your convictions, I ask you not to despair.
McGovern stayed in the Senate until a 1980 defeat, and 4 years later made another run for president but didn't get past the early primaries. There were tragedies in his personal life, too, losing son Stephen and daughter Teresa to alcoholism.
I loved her, and she knew that. She never doubted that for a minute, and I'm grateful for that.
McGovern spent his later years writing and working on one of his lifelong passions, ending world hunger. George McGovern was 90.